Hey everyone, Ryan Poncetti here with eXp Realty, and welcome back to the Hampton Roads Real Estate Network. Today, we're going to talk about the NAR settlement and its impacts on consumers. Okay, I know this might not be the most interesting topic for some people, but there are some things that I think you do need to know. There's a lot of details and minutia that maybe that people don't really want to know or need to know, but there are at least two things that I think that consumers really do need to know. So we're going to talk about those two things in this video, and we're also going to talk about what those things mean for buyers and sellers and how they intermingle and affect each other, because they definitely do have an effect on both buyers and sellers. And the first one we're going to talk about is directly affecting buyers, and that is you need a agreement signed before an agent can show you a house. You may or may not know this, but beforehand that obviously was optional. Well, that is changing. Now you have to have an agreement before you go to any showing. And we'll talk about why that is important here in a little bit. The second thing that is changed that you guys need to know, it affects sellers more directly, and that is the MLS that agents use to list your home will no longer display any amount of concessions that a seller is willing to offer to pay a buyer's agent. We call that the SBC on the listing, and that told agents ahead of time how much the seller was willing to pay towards their commission. So that is going away. In fact, it's already gone away, and you can do some other things. And of course, you can still offer it, but that is no longer being advertised. Okay, so what do these things mean? We'll start with the buyer one first. For buyers, this means that obviously you need to have an agreement with an agent before they can show you a home. All right, why that matters, I think, is pretty obvious, but we'll get into it here a little bit. So before, you could just go to any showing with any agent. They could open up the door for you, show you the home. And then if you liked it, you could do the agreement with them after that, typically while you're writing a contract to purchase the house, right? Maybe you've worked with this agent for a while. Maybe you haven't. Back in those days, I mean, like a month ago, that didn't really matter, right? So now it matters. And why it's important for buyers is that you are going to be signing an agreement with an agent just to see a home. And you can sign any type of agreement, meaning the terms of the length of the agreement can vary. It can be a single property agreement just for that property only. It can be for a short amount of time. Like you could do like a trial period with an agent, say like 30 days or less. Or if it's an agent that you know well, or you establish a relationship with them and you know that you want to work with them long term, you can do a longer one, many months, 6 months, 12 months. That will really more depend on how big of a window you think that you're going to need to find a house, or the urgency that you need to find a house, or whatever. So the other part that's important when you're signing an agreement is that the terms of how the agent is going to be paid and what he gets paid is also going to be on that contract, right? So this is not new. It was always on there. So you'll have to go and discuss with your agent compensation, and why that matters now is because of what is happening on the selling side. Okay. So the changes for the displaying of buyer's agent commission on the MLS has been changed because the industry, or the people monitoring the industry, have decided that it was creating less transparency. It was creating an industry norm or standard that they thought was not beneficial to sellers. Whether you agree with that or not, or know anything about that, you can, and people are having many, many discussions on whether that's true or not. But at the end of the day, it is being changed, and its purpose is to try to push conversations in a more transparent way, right? They want us as agents to have more transparent conversations with sellers. And for a lot of agents, myself included, I don't feel like it's really that big of a change, because we were already having these conversations with sellers, but they want to, quote unquote, they want us to make sure that we're having these conversations with sellers so that they fully understand, what they're paying for, and not just lumping it into like, this is what it costs to sell your home, right? So they are removing that from the MLS. Now, doesn't mean that you can't advertise that you are offering concessions. It just won't offer, it won't advertise specifically what you're offering buyer's agents. Okay. So buyer's agents won't know that ahead of time. Okay. So they are also trying to push it into a direction where that is being negotiated when contracts are presented to the seller, right, by buyer's agents. So they want to have that, they want to push that in that direction. And so that goes back to the importance of your buyer broker agreement when you're hiring a buyer's agent. So when you agree to whatever that agent is going to charge you, whether it's a percentage, a flat fee, or whatever, when you're offering on a house, you need to keep that number in mind and what that means for you, because you decide if you want that agent to, on your behalf, ask for concessions to pay for the commission. Okay. So you can ask for all of the commission to be paid for. You can ask for part of it. You can ask for none of it. If you're being particularly aggressive on a house, and you're comfortable paying your agent his commission or her commission, then, there you go. That's up to you. But you need to know that ahead of time. And that's important because you're having to sign that before you go and see a house. So if an agent shows you a house and you just freaking love it, right? And then you signed a piece of paper, but you weren't really thinking about it because it's like, oh yeah, I just want to see the house. And then, oh yeah, I really do like this house. Like, well, you need to start thinking, before you go see that house about that agreement, right? So it makes it, in my opinion, makes shopping for a buyer's agent even more important for buyers, instead of thinking like buyers typically have in the past, like, oh, I'm just going to go out and start seeing houses. I'll meet agents along the way and then I'll figure it out beforehand. I think that you really actually should start shopping for an agent first and finding one that you like and trust as your guide through the process, which I always thought that you should do, but now it's even more important. Okay. So, and for sellers, when you talk to your agents who are going to be helping you sell your house, you need to have that discussion about the strategy of what you are willing to offer a buyer's agent, if anything. You want to tell your agent whether or not you want them to let agents know if they ask, if a buyer's agent asks. But as a seller, you want to talk to your agent and, come to an understanding like, hey, I'm willing to pay X amount of dollars towards buyer agent commissions. Okay. So, you're just mentally prepared to know that when you get offers that you'll probably have that in there. And then your agreement with your agent is what you're going to be paying them. And then any kind of concessions or anything like that. And why would you want to offer buyer agents commissions? Well, it's the same reason that you would have offered it before, because it depends on, what you are looking to do as far as like the goals of your transaction. There's a lot of different goals of sellers of all different types. And so you have to decide for yourself how much money you're willing to pay a buyer's agent's commission, if any. And again, there's advantages to offering or be prepared to accept buyer agent concessions, right? So we won't get into all those details. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. You can shoot me a direct message, or you can schedule a discovery call with me using the link in the description, or you can go to the Hampton Roads Real Estate Network homepage and there's a link there, and you can go ahead and schedule a call with me. And I'm happy to discuss any real estate topics or questions that you have, or we can set an appointment. If you have, a home to sell or you're looking to buy a home, I'm happy to talk about any goals that you have in real estate in the near future. And until then, as always, be well, and I'll see you out there.